Good morning. All right, so it's our last video of 2023. I don't know if it's exciting or terrifying. I think it depends on what day and what time of day you ask me that. So I always talk on the last video of the year about how much I dislike resolutions. And if you've trained with me for a while, you know that I am very anti-resolution. And here's why. I think that behaviors, which you hear me talk about all the time, are the better way to go. And we all know this, right? We know that resolutions don't last, like the statistics. I'm not even going to get into them. Google them if they're important to you. Start today and figure out when it's actually working for you, why it worked. I'll hack it for you and tell you. Because when we give ourselves permission to wait, so today's the 29th of December, when we give ourselves permission to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow, right? Or I'll do it on the 1st, rather than saying, I'm actually going to do it today. I'm going to start right now, right? Have you ever talked to someone who had been a lifelong smoker or had any kind of addiction and they just said, okay, today, right? They didn't say like, well, I'm going to give myself a week, and then they've given themselves anxiety over the week. Here's another example for you and that I can speak to personally. When I had to finally get my health under control and start eating correctly, I didn't eat all the food out of my pantry and make myself ill. I cleaned my pantry out right then and took the garbage out because I had to start right then. So I don't think that you should make any resolutions. I think that you should decide today what you're going to do. So there's a couple of other pieces to this that make it a little bit more successful. And I'm going to tell you what they are. Sound good? All right. So my other piece here is to not make choices that tell you what you can't do, right? Like, how quickly can we remember all the teenage rebelliousness that came out of us? For those of you who have had babies, carried babies, and you knew you couldn't drink alcohol for a period of time. I don't know about you, but I never craved beer so much in my entire life until I knew I couldn't have it. So don't tell yourself what you can't do, because all that's going to do is make you want it, right? We just have a natural rebelliousness in us. For those of you who have been through training with us, we have that parent, adult, child in us, and that natural rebellion in us that we talk about. Go back through your class notes and see what you wrote about it. So don't tell yourself what you're not going to do. So I'm not going to drink any more pop. Instead of that, I would encourage you to say, I'm not going to drink pop until I've had all of this water, right? So if I drink 100 ounces of water a day, then I can drink pop. Well, so let's think that through. If you've had 100 ounces of water a day, then are you going to want pop? No, because you're going to be too dang busy going to the bathroom, right? So tell yourself what you can have conditionally and work through that. Another one that I always hear people say is, I'm going to stop swearing. Well, okay, so what are you going to do if you swear? That's a good one. And make it enough that you're actually uncomfortable. So are you going to do 10 jumping jacks in the middle of the grocery store if you swear, or in some kind of environment when your kids call you out? Because let's be honest, the money in the jar for some of us, it's just not enough. And it gets thrown to the wayside. So something that really is going to make you uncomfortable is what you're looking for. The other one is junk food. I really like this one. Not no junk food, but junk food after you've had a good 3 servings of vegetables every day. Because again, once you start to feel good, then you maybe won't crave the junk food, or there's actual change going on that won't allow you to put it in your mouth, right? But as soon as we tell ourselves we can't have something, so work through the things that you know you really want to change, and then work them back to what you can do and what you can have. So I can have a pop, but after I've had 100 ounces of water, or if I swear, then I'm going to do burpees or jumping jacks. You guys know my fascination with burpees. So work through your behaviors that you want to change. And by the way, start them today, and don't make them a resolution that you think that will be gone in 21 days. Okay, so here's my next thing that I'm going to jump on, because I've seen it kind of start to go rampant on the internet, and I kind of just have a burr under my saddle about this, and I want to address it a little bit while we start to decide what 2023 is going to look like. I've heard in different variations this, I don't know, I don't want to call it a movement, because I don't want it to have that much traction. And it says, get quiet for a year, or go quiet, for a period of time. And while I understand what people are trying to encourage here, I want to discourage this with a lot of weight. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. Instead of the thought that you should get quiet for a year or an extended period of time, I would love to reframe it, because I think that when we say you should get quiet, it is encouraging a thought of isolation. And isolation is the last thing that I think any of us need right now. You know how much I advocate for community, and I advocate for you to not feel alone. So please, if this message is something that you're hearing out on other platforms, it really sits wrong with me. So instead of getting quiet for a year, here are the 4 things that I would suggest. Instead, find a tribe that you need to be in on. Check on those who check on you. And I really liked this thought process. If you didn't reach out to people purposefully, and while I think that there's some two-way streets here, who would check on you? And check in on who are the people who you really want to be connected with in 2023. And notice I didn't say that has to be your biological family. So who are the people that you really need to be connected with in 2023? Don't always be the biggest fish. And you hear me talk about this kind of a lot, but I think that we need to be cautious about the rooms. We had a post go out on LinkedIn. You can go out and find it, about what communities you need to be in, or you want to be in 23. And the question got turned around back on me. And my answer was this: I don't always want to be the biggest fish. You guys are a part of this community, and I facilitate these communities. But if you go out and see the communities that I participate in, I am in communities where I'm the little guy, so that I can learn and I can listen from others and I can soak it in. So make sure that when you take inventory of the rooms and the communities that you're in 2023, it doesn't roll off my tongue quite easily yet, that you aren't always the biggest fish. You have an opportunity to be the sponge. Again, if you've been through training with us, you know the difference between being a rock and being a sponge, that you have the opportunity to be a sponge in a room where you're not the big fish. Less social media, right? So this concept came from social media. Get quiet for a year and don't tell people what's going on. Less social media. We do this through our 10-day cleanse when we do it. Clean up what you consume, right? So you're a downstream consumer. And sometimes we are upstream providers. So clean up on your social media what drags you down, what is maybe not always truthful, the things that you're seeing on your social media. Clean it up. And then spend less time doing it. Are you reading books that are good for you, whether they're recreational or professional? Are you watching, if you watch TV, are you watching stuff that's good for your soul? Are you watching things that are truthful? Are you spending too much time doing it? Social media, are you doing the things that are right? So if those are struggles for you, we can talk about it in your coaching. And then the fourth thing is choose your behaviors wisely. And then for those of you who have been through Thai Game, make sure that you're using the Thai Game theory on your behaviors. Don't settle, right? You can remove yourself from the chaos that maybe we settle into, right? You fall to your highest level of preparedness if you've been through training with us, where we sometimes find that struggle that we have, that push and pull. But choose your behaviors now, not resolutions, behaviors. Then use Thai Game theory on them and don't settle. Again, this is a great topic for if you're in one of our forums. We can help with this. If you're calling in for coaching, we're, again, happy to help. You know, I'm your numbers girl. I love that stuff. But don't disappear, right? Don't isolate. Don't be alone. Be purposeful in how you're showing up in 2023. There's a big, big difference in being purposeful on how you show up versus going quiet and trying to be alone. And I think that in 2023, that's the last thing we need, is to have anybody else isolate and have anybody else feel like they're on this journey alone. Not in my community, not if I have anything to say about it. You are not ever alone. And we're always here to help remind you that all you got to do is open your hands and take a big, deep breath and breathe life in. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. We are so excited to have you as a part of this community and the Oxygen community. Tons of awesome forums and communities for all of you to be a part of. And we hope you take just a little bit of time to breathe life in. Bye, everybody.